So you have just received your new Minbie breast pump in the post, or maybe you are thinking about getting it. Either way, this video is going to provide you with an end-to-end kind of manual, if you like, on how to use and make the most out of your breast pump. I know as a first-time mom, there is a million and one things that are on your mind, and navigating the world of pumping can just feel like something else on top of that. For me, the first time I was introduced to a breast pump, I was in hospital with my 3-day-old baby. She had to go to NICU, so I had to start pumping. So I asked one of the nurses for a pump, and she wheeled over this clunky machine that I had to basically be tied to if I wanted to produce milk for my baby. It didn't feel intuitive, it felt uncomfortable, and I struggled to know how to use it. And I really don't want that to be your experience. And with Minbie, it will not be. This is basically the that girl of breast pumps. The first thing that you'll notice when you open it is how stunning it is. Like, it's just absolutely beautiful. But beyond how beautifully designed it is, it actually is powerful. It has hospital grade suction, which is going to allow you to get more milk out in less time while still keeping you safe and protecting your breast tissue. So we're going to get into all of that and how to use the breast pump. So yeah, let's get into it, starting with the unboxing. So when you open the box, you'll see a manual, a nipple measuring card, which I will explain how to use later, and then 3 separate boxes that make up the entire pump. So the first box has the pump and the power adapter in it, and then the other 2 boxes are pump accessories, which will be attached to the pump unit to make use of the pump as a whole. So you can just go ahead and remove everything out of the boxes and take off the plastic packaging. And this is what the pump parts look like when they are fully unboxed. It can look a little intimidating at first, but don't worry, we're going to go through everything and how to use it. And another thing to note is a lot of these parts are spares, which Minbie provides in case something gets damaged or something gets lost. So you're not going to be using all of these things at once, but they're really handy to have because, you know, with little kids around, things can get lost, things can get damaged. So let's go through everything, and remember, you do not need to memorize what each of the pump parts are called. It's just helpful to kind of know, especially for this video, so you know when I'm referring to what. So let's get into it. So the first thing is the pump unit. Then we have the power adapter. Next you have the Minbie bottle, which comes assembled with the breast shield body, flanges, valves, diaphragm and diaphragm cap. Then you have the bottle lids, and you can use these to cover your milk once you are done pumping. You can separate these from the actual lid. This lid, the lid that you can use to actually cover the Minbie bottles, and you can just use it as a cap. Then you have the flanges, which come in 3 different sizes, a 21mm, a 29mm, and a 25mm, which are the ones that come pre-assembled, because this is generally the size of the majority of women, but not every woman. So we are actually going to get into how you can get the right flange size for you next. So using the right flange size is really important. It's not only going to make your pumping experience more comfortable, but it's going to make sure that you don't have pain both in the short term and the long term. So Minbie have actually created a nipple measuring guide, which is going to help you to get the right size flange for you. So you just place the round hole of the measuring card over your nipple, and you can start with any hole that you kind of think may fit, and then kind of try holes that are a smaller size or a bigger size until you find the hole that most accurately fits your nipple size. Remember, you are just measuring the nipple, not the whole areola. And then underneath the hole, it will show you the recommended flange size for you. So when you find your recommended flange size, you can just go ahead and put the other 2 flange sizes away in case you need them later. One other quick thing to note here is some women actually have 2 different flange sizes, so you can have 2 different nipple sizes, which is perfectly fine. It happens for many women. So just make sure you measure both of your nipples individually, and they could be the same or they could be different. Next is making sure that your pump is fully charged. So you just want to plug it into a wall, and I would recommend charging it for up to 4 hours initially. This is going to allow you to actually use your pump portably, so you don't have to be chained to a wall, and the Minbie breast pump retains its battery for about 3 hours, which is amazing. So if you know you have a trip coming up, or if you're wanting to pump at work, or just pump somewhere where you don't want to be chained to a wall, then make sure you have that plugged in. My pump, it basically fits into every handbag that I have, which is amazing. You can take it with you to work, like I said. One of my favorite things to do is actually pump on road trips while my husband is driving. It just feels like the ultimate mum hack. So yeah, make sure it's charged, especially on the first time, just so you can use everything properly and so that you're preserving that battery life. And it's actually really unique to have a pump that is this powerful in suction while still being portable. With a lot of the other pumps that I've tried, they are portable, but I found that they weren't really powerful enough to fully drain out my breasts and to help me to maintain my milk supply. So whilst your pump is charging, the next thing that I recommend doing is washing your pump parts. This is really important to do after your pumping sessions, but also when your pump is new, just because your pump is coming into contact with your breasts are coming into contact with your milk, and your milk is obviously coming into contact with your new baby. This is really easy to do. Just disassemble everything. You do not need to wash the cap and the tubing connectors or the pump unit itself, just the other parts. You can do this by just putting all of your pump parts in warm soapy water and then rinsing them back off. Once they are washed, you can dry them and then sterilize them using whatever method you use. Minbie do have an amazing sterilizer and dryer which you can use as well, and that's going to save you lots of time. Once your pump parts are fully washed, dried and sterilized, you just need to put everything back together. So first you put the flanges back inside the breast shields, then you place the breast shields around the bottles. Next you place the diaphragm at the top of the breast shield body and then screw that cap back on. Then you attach one end of the tubing connectors to the holes in the diaphragm caps. Then once your pump is fully charged, you can attach the other end of the tubing connectors to the two holes in the breast pumps. So this is what your pump should look like when it's fully assembled and you are almost ready to start pumping. But before you do, there is a few simple tips that I recommend doing to make sure you get the most out of each and every pumping session. So something that took me a while to realize was that even though pumping looks like a physical thing that you are doing, it's actually very psychological. It's a lot to do with your hormones, and there's one particular hormone called oxytocin, which is key to effective milk removal, that we really want to try and activate as much as possible to get the most out of our pumping sessions. And there's a few kind of ways that you can make sure that this hormone is flowing, things that are just going to make you feel really relaxed and at ease. The first thing is try to be in a private and a comfortable space. As you kind of get further along in your pumping journey, you're going to get comfortable pumping anywhere. I've pumped on airplanes, I've pumped in the car, I've pumped on the train, but when you're kind of new to pumping, try and make sure those first few pumping sessions are somewhere that you feel really comfortable in, like a bedroom or something like that, and just make sure that that's a space that feels good and nice for you. Other things that you can do to kind of help your body to relax are play some music. You can make yourself a cup of tea, you can light a candle, put a diffuser on, really anything that makes you feel your most relaxed, because remember, this is all going to trigger oxytocin, which is responsible for that letdown. You also want to make sure your baby is also at the top of your mind to encourage those really good pumping sessions. So the Minbie breast pump has a really quiet motor. It also has a mute function as well for the buttons. So if you have a sleeping baby, you can just pump right next to them and it will not wake them up. But say you aren't next to your baby, that could be the reason that you have actually started pumping. Maybe you're going back to work, or maybe you just want some time out with your with your friends, you can just make sure you have a picture of your baby with you. This will just help to keep your baby at the top of your mind and really trigger all of those hormones that are going to help us to effectively remove milk. So once you have done all of those things, we are finally ready to get into how to actually use the Minbie breast pump. So the Minbie breast pump is really amazingly designed to allow you to get more milk out in less time. And that third phase and the fourth phase really do that on kind of a higher level than just kind of using the first two phases. So this third phase, like I said, it's called the 2-in-1 or power pumping phase, and it's designed to encourage as many letdowns as possible. So it gives you 5 rounds of stimulation, so that's that faster sucking motion, followed by 5 rounds of expression, which is that kind of slower suction motion that focuses on drawing the milk out of you, and it just keeps repeating like that. Then you have the fourth phase, which you can activate by again just clicking that downwards arrow and the 2 milk ducts, and it will take you to the fourth phase, which is another 2-in-1 or auto loop phase. And this phase basically combines the expression and stimulation phases similarly to the third phase by giving you 3 minutes of stimulation, which is usually enough to encourage a really good letdown, followed by 7 minutes of expression. And this just keeps repeating until that half-an-hour pumping session is over. And again, in each of the phases, the pumping settings are adjustable, so you can, you know, make the suction higher or lower so it's comfortable for you. You can make the cycles faster or slower so it's comfortable for you. So play around with the settings, find something that works for you, and remember, it takes time to figure out. So be really patient with yourself and trust the process. The Minbie breast pump, it really has everything that you need in it to have not only a successful pumping journey, but one that is enjoyable. That's it, you are ready to start pumping. I really hope that you found this video useful. If you have any further questions, you can always reach out to Minbie's customer service by going on their website or emailing them at info@minbie.com. Like I said, remember, be patient with yourself. Each pumping session will vary by different factors that are completely beyond your control, like the time of day, your stress levels, all of those different things. So I think what really helped me on my pumping journey was not focusing on the amount of ounces that I was getting in one pumping session, but really just celebrating myself, because it's a gift that you get to make milk for your baby. You get to do it on the go, you get to do it whether you're with your baby or away from them. So be easy on yourself, enjoy the journey. Because I know it's hard to believe, but there'll be a time where you kind of look back and you'll really cherish this time. So enjoy it, happy pumping, and welcome to the Minbie Mum Squad.